Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business and the SillyVille edition. These recorded live Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, new time for the live show. We moved it back a little bit. It's a little bit better for most people, and hopefully it's better for me and for you as well. So you can join in over there live if you want to catch it live, or you can just keep on watching these edited down versions as well. That is also a valid thing to do. With that, let's go ahead and get diving right on into the busyness news. First, an update. We reported that there was some rumors that Galaxy might be switching to Bing, replacing Google, but they're like, nah, we're not really ready for that yet. And, Google, I didn't include it in the news list tonight, but Google is actually starting to roll out the same AI-based search functions as Microsoft is doing through Bing, and so it doesn't really make a difference. There's no purpose of switching to that because Bing has AI and Google doesn't, because Google's going to have AI soon in their stuff as well. And frankly, if you ask my opinion, they both suck. So whatever's the case. And I did the video on that. I looked at it. I looked at ChatGPT on Bing, and it's literally worse than doing a search engine. All it does is gives you a generic brief summary of the 2 or 3 of the top 10 search pages on the search engine, and then presents it to you as gospel fact, and so you're becoming more brain dead than you have been in the past. So AI in search is going to actually, if you can believe it, make our society more brain dead than it already is. And I know that's a very low bar, but if we're not careful, idiocracy is going to be in our future, and it probably won't even take 500 years. I did watch that movie the other day, and I gotta say, I want to know whose it is and why it's farting, okay? We gotta know. And we're not going to know if we keep on putting AI into the chat, because it's completely destroying our ability of critical thinking. So that's just an update. HP is under fire again. HP rushes to fix bricked printers. This one at least was more of an accident and less of a, hey, we are maliciously killing the printer that you have had that works for a long, long time because we're sick of you buying the cheap ink cartridges instead of our overpressed garbage ink cartridges. This time they just pushed out a firmware update. They probably were trying to do that, and they ended up bricking the whole thing instead of nothing at all. And so with that being said, HP ends up breaking a bunch of these printers. Here's the thing that bothers me the most about this is that nobody's asking for these constant updates. There's no reason for these constant updates. There's no reason for your printer to be on the internet at all. And therefore, there's no reason for it to be getting any over-the-air updates. You need the printer to be able to print from your local area network. If you're like, I'm out and about, I need to print this to my printer. Well, I got news for you. The printer is not going to send you the printed paper right when you print it. Why do you need to print it right here, right now, when you're not at home to get the printer? Okay? It doesn't print and then magically ship it out to you in drone. It doesn't. Okay? You print it from the internet, the convenience of printing from the internet from anywhere. And then you still have to go home to get the thing the printer is printing out. You see, there is no earthly reason a printer needs to be on the internet. Maybe a niche business application, but that is a unique application. Okay? So now HP is bricking these printers. They're like, well, maybe we'll get them fixed. How are you going to fix it? So people are like sending these back. We're going to start some class action lawsuits, and maybe we can get printers to stop pushing over-the-air updates. Like, who even said, I want this update? My printer is working perfectly fine. Don't touch it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, we need to fix a malware breach. Somebody can get it. Get the printer off the internet. It solves the problem. But what if you need to print from something and you're not home? You can't get it until you're home anyway. My Lord. You see, okay, we're already at idiocracy. Idiocracy's already here. Great. Well, Windows isn't making a positive direction. A positive direction is they are finally out of the box supporting RAR, GZ, and 7Z. Well, it's about stinking time that they start supporting the archiving systems that the rest of the whole world has been using for all eternity. Thank you, Windows. You finally made it. Of course, this is a minor Windows 11 feature. You plebs on Windows 10, got to update to Windows 11 to open your GZ files. Just switch to Linux. It does it out of the box. That's that. Thanks, Windows. It's very good to see Windows is doing stuff, but we're gonna see Windows showing up all over the place tonight. They're doing some weird stuff. They're pushing out a definitely unwanted video, but we have to wait for band news for that one. So we'll get there in a bit. This one is an interesting example of a company doing odd company things. So a patient gets a brain implant. And they promise, of course, just like, Musk's promise, and BlackRock has the BlackRock Neuralink. We talked about that not too long ago. They have another implant system, and the idea is they're implanting these brain chips and then allowing you to control different elements of life via the brain chips. And so you're being able to do this. Well, the problem is that she has this brain chip. It's causing her tremendously positive things. She can I think she was blind, and this allows her to see. I can't remember which her issue was. And it worked perfectly. She's like, I love it. It brought me back part of my life. And then the company goes bust. Now, the company goes bust. They could release the source code. They could release all of the information. They could hand it over to some other company. They could just give every bit of the stuff to this person and be like, if you can find a scientist that can work with this, great, you got it. But no, they're just closing everything, killing it all, and that's all there is to it. All there is to it. And so with that, what we're starting to see is that more and more companies like this, they're putting out these big, amazing brainwavy type things. And then the problem that we have is that the company goes bust, and now the company is bust. All the functionality of things simply stops working. And now we have a person who you promised them the world, and then you dashed all those hopes against the rocks like a Titanic crashing into an iceberg or something. Who knows? So that is definitely an interesting thing. And finally, we have a state with a potentially viable right to repair, and that is Minnesota. See, this is why I can't get fully Democrat or fully Republican. Democrats get a lot of things right. Minnesota, Maine, New York. Well, New York was kind of compromised by sheer stupidity. But all the Democratic states seem to be the ones pushing out the better right to repair laws. They seem to understand the internet and technology a little bit better. They just become buffoons on social matters. And the Republicans kind of become buffoons on the technology. We're going to, Montana bans TikTok. Utah bans P-Hub. Are you really this stupid? Okay. But at least they got the social programs right. Okay. I can go to any Democratic state in my van and park and not necessarily be harassed. But there's places in Florida, if you park your vehicle on the side of the road because you cannot keep your eyes open any longer, a police officer is going to come and give you a $1,000 trespass fine. Tennessee has those laws like that. They don't enforce them as much. South Carolina, North Carolina, all those deeply conservative states, they don't want you parking on the side of the road if you're tired. You see, neither one of them has this right, okay? And this is a case where the Democratic states tend to push out more right to repair, but the Minnesota one actually has teeth, and that's what's exciting about this. New York one, they got it passed. It was in great form, and then it came across Hochul's desk, and some guy's like, hey, we'll give you a lot of money if you break it. Sure, let's carve the teeth off of this thing, right? All right. In this one here, this one actually has teeth. And then once a law like this starts passing out, they kind of have to start rolling out everywhere else. I'm excited for this. This is great. So, digital right to repair bill passed part of the omnibus legislation signed by Governor Tim Walz on Wednesday, filled many of the loopholes that were watered down by the New York right to repair legislation, said Nathan Proctor, Senior Director for Public Interest Research Group's Right to Repair campaign. New York's bill was great as it was passed, but then the governor completely neutered it, came by and chop the nards off of that bad boy. Modified the bill to allow manufacturers to sell whole assemblies instead of individual parts. Colorado passed a bill aimed at tractors and other ones, but Minnesota's bill, by comparison, covers the most products sold after July 1st, 2021, so retroactively 2 years back, does not allow for much manufacturer discretion. Companies that sell in Minnesota but do not offer customers or independent repair shops the materials needed to fix devices with fair and reasonable terms and within 60 days can be found in violation of the state's deceptive trade practices law. Companies do not have to sell parts or tools if they no longer make the devices. Now, that's going to be their loophole. They're going to be like, we're going to release a device for 6 months and then stop making it and then slightly tweak it and release it on a different model and then stop making it. That's the loophole they're probably going to use. We'll see if that actually happens, and then we'll see if that's tested to say this is different enough, like fair use. This is different enough from the original source to allow you to use it. That's going to be the question. But as companies do not have to sell parts or tools if they no longer make the devices or are no longer actively sold, says Kel Wines, CEO of repair vendor and advocate iFixit, and Gay Gordon Byron, is it Byron, I think, the director of repair.org, expressed disappointment with this carve-out. When quality technicians have documentation, they can typically keep fixing the product for a very long time, even without manufacturer help. Notably, enterprise computing devices are covered under Minnesota's legislation, but the bill allows for exemptions in information technology equipment that is intended for use in critical infrastructure. So some specific carve out for very specific things. That's reasonable enough, I think. Could reasonably be used to compromise cybersecurity or cybersecurity equipment. Well, seemingly narrow. It remains to see how far manufacturers construct the critical or cybersecurity. I think they're going to more do it by tweaking it. This is where slightly tweaking stuff just in order to solve that problem. So it is good to see a right to repair bill with some actual teeth in it, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Well, today for our affiliate spot, we are highlighting my book, Synaptergy. You can find it at synaptergy.com or tlm.li/s. This is a science fiction novel dealing with brain implants. Of course, we had that story about brain implants, so we absolutely had to include it. And so you can head on over synaptergy.com or tlm.li/s. You can read Chapter 1, or if you would like, you can listen to Chapter 1 over there on SoundCloud. And you can see the links as to where you can pick it up. I don't have a link to buy it on my author website, but we have Amazon, Audible, and then I'll tell you where you can get it and what formats it's available. Barnes & Noble is ebook or print book. I just have ebook listed there. So you can pick that up anywhere where you can find books online. Well, guys, with that, let's head on over to your favorite place and mine, SillyVille. All right, first up in SillyVille. Oh, I forgot to buy some Skittles. I was going to buy some. Oh, well. A bill that would ban Skittles passes in California State Assembly, expected to pass the Senate. All right, if my Skittles are banned in California, I am just not going back. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to take care of the last few things I need to take care of in the state of California, and I am out of there. If you're going to tell me I cannot go to California and eat my Skittles, I'm sorry. You have become the nanny state. Okay, think about this. California is now a sanctuary state where you can go and chop off perfectly healthy body parts of minors, yet you cannot go to California and buy Skittles. I'm telling you, guys. I'm telling you. So this has to do with not banning the candy itself, but anything containing red dye number 3, titanium dioxide, potassium bromate, brominated vegetable oils, or propylbaraben. So of these, brominated vegetable oil can be a problem. Propylparaben, I do not know anything about. Potassium bromate is not particularly dangerous. Titanium dioxide is not particularly dangerous. And red dye number 3... they say it makes some kids hyper. I'm not completely sure I buy that, but that's kind of what they're saying. So if this would cause Skittles to have to reevaluate. I know they use red dye number 3. I don't know if they're actually using the other ones or not. I don't really care if they are using the other ones or not. Skittles are good, and they brought back my lemon lime or my lime Skittles, and so I'm happy with Skittles, except during like the month of June. So I should go buy some before it's June and they start doing those non-rainbowy Skittles. Go figure, but whatever. So that is what California is up to. And, of course, buy now, pay later is becoming this big thing. And so this pizza company up in New Zealand or down in New Zealand, over in New Zealand, wherever New Zealand happens to be from you, or, hey, right here in New Zealand, if you're from New Zealand watching this, if you are from New Zealand, have you ever been to Hell Pizza? Is it good? I got to know. So Hell Pizza was contacted by several buy now, pay later things. And he's like, dude, we offer pizza. Okay, if you cannot buy your pizza now and pay for it now, you probably don't need to be buying pizza. So being as that their name is Hell Pizza, they just got this idea, you're going to pay in your afterlife. Okay, this is how this works. This is great. All right, so and they explain where this comes out. I guess here's an ad about it. And then over here, they came to this idea where the first 666 people asked or initially trial, anyone interested can apply at afterlife.hellpizza.nz. 666 people are going to be selected. And it has also been extended to 666 people in Australia as well. Now, once they are selected, they are going to sign an online, legally binding agreement amending their will for the total of their chosen order. And so there's no extra fees, there's no extra costs, there's no interest rate for this. It's just if you buy a $20 pizza and you're part of the Afterlife Pizza program, then I couldn't see is it multiple pizzas or just a single one. But you get at least one pizza, you get it now. You do not have to pay for it until you die. But once you die, your estate has to pay for your pizza. Brilliant. Love it. So brilliant, they're causing some United States YouTube channel to talk about it. So, of course, they say, see you in hell. So there you go, guys. If you are in New Zealand or Australia, you can be one of the 666 people in either one of those countries to be able to get at least one pizza and not pay for it until you have died. So I wonder, does Hell Pizza get its pizza first, or does the government get its taxes first? I'm not sure. You're from New Zealand. You tell me. So that is an epic new program. I absolutely love this, and that is just pure SillyVille material right there, I gotta say. Hyundai is going to pay $200 million after a TikTok challenge exposed a huge security flaw. So yes, we had a TikTok challenge to challenge people to steal cars. Because, of course, Hyundai and I think Kia was the other one. They were so vulnerable to being able to be stolen. It simply required taking out the headlight and attaching two wires together, and you'd hotwire the car from there, and then you can get in and steal the whole car. So there was a TikTok challenge teaching people how to do all that kind of stuff, and then it caused all sorts of problems, and several cities started suing the car manufacturers because they weren't doing security enough, and this is why we do not need internet-connected cars and why we need stuff out of the box that works, and things like that. So $145 million is earmarked for out-of-pocket losses. So the $200 million is to compensate roughly 9 million Hyundai and Kia users, about 145. So, okay, 200 divided by 9. Let's do 200 divided by 10. $100. Is that $100? No, wait. I can't add. Apparently I can't do division. $200? That's $20. Is that $20? You're going to give $20 to people who have the car stolen? Okay, apparently I can't do math tonight. I totally cannot apparently do math tonight. So let me go ahead and actually do what I should be able to do in my stinking head. Yeah, that's $22. They've earmarked $200 million to compensate 9 million U.S. Hyundai and Kia owners. They're going to pay you $22 for their poor security getting your car stolen. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. So, and that was all on TikTok challenge. So let's move on. Well, Windows 11 is finally getting a feature that is making this author, Darren Allen, finally getting a feature to allow him to move to Windows 11, because this is like the feature to get. I had to read this a couple times to figure out what he's talking about. He says, no, it's not Copilot. Of course, Copilot is a new AI-driven thing that is being pushed in. What is it? Get this. They're adding a never combine option to the taskbar. So if you have two instances of an application running, they will never combine into a single icon button. Linux has been doing that forever. Now, I don't like that Linux Mint and several other distros has kind of moved into Windows modern stupidity of combining everything by default. But they do have the option to not combine, and they always have had the option to not combine. You can do it. But Windows 11 is finally getting the ability to never combine open programs on the taskbar. And this guy's like, that's it. I'm finally switching Windows 11. My friend, you should have switched to Linux a long time ago. I'm telling you. Well, enough of that. If you want to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribe Star page. You can find us over on subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. If you'd like to join us over there and support on that platform, we are all on over there. With that, thank you for watching, and we will see you all next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.